students and NET aspirants. I hope all of you are great in your life and also you are studying for your UGC NET, JRF English and moving towards your goal slowly by slowly. So here we are going to learn about Dido Queen of Carthage, which was published in the year 1594, and it's a play by Christopher Marlowe, the great, most talented Shakespearean dramatist, belongs to the age of Shakespeare. So we have already seen Tamburlaine the Great and about uh, Marlowe's life and various details related to him and his works in the previous videos. So if you have not seen that, you can go and see that first and then come back. So chronologically speaking, Dido, Queen of Carthage, comes next to what next to Tamburlaine. But if you see the composition, Dido Queen of Carthage is the first dramatic composition by Marlowe. But in the case of publication, if you see on the grounds of publication years, Dido Queen of Carthage only got published in 1594. So Dido Queen of Carthage, about this play as well as any other play by Marlowe, I have given a detailed analysis and summary, and I have spoken everything related to it in my website known as www.highpoint.in, not only about Marlowe, not only about the literary persons and dramatists of age of Elizabeth, or the authors and poets and dramatists and literary person essayists or pamphleteers of English literature, but also about many other subjects that is you needed to study for your UGC NET and JRF are systematically simplified in a simplified manner. Systematically, that means chronologically and in a more comprehensible manner, is arranged there in the website known as www.highpoint.in. You can go and have a look at it if you want to know what you have to learn and what are things you have to learn compulsorily as important topics. If you go there and you can have a look at it, you can have a free trial and demo materials there in the form 9 demo materials. From there you will have 900 plus audio lectures, 300 plus downloadable simplified notes related to important works in the form of 4 PDFs, and also you can have all the previous question papers from 2004 onwards, and also practice question papers prepared by us in the website, and you can attend to them live and have your marks instantly after the exam. So go and have a look at it, and you can also join a WhatsApp group if you want. There you will get daily quizzes related to English language and literature, and also you will have notes, study cards, and notes and facts related to major works and literary persons in form of capsules, and daily quizzes will be there, and you will be also provided with the news and updates related to English language and literature. So yeah, that's all about it. So let's begin Dido Queen of Carthage. So I hope you will join the WhatsApp group, and also you will go and visit my website, and also you can go to my channel. And if you have not subscribed to my channel, obviously you will be subscribing it. Thank you. And if you have already subscribed, thank you for that. And after this video, if you like the video, please press the like button. So let's begin Dido Queen of Carthage, which was published in the year 1594. Let's have some introductory details about the play. It's a tragedy. Okay, without a doubt, let me tell you, this is a tragedy, and it is the first play by Marlowe that I have already explained. The full title of the tragedy is The Tragedy of Dido, Queen of Carthage. So this is the full title of the play, The Tragedy of Dido, Queen of Carthage. And Marlowe has written this particular work between the years 1587 and 1593. So between these years, we assume that between these years Marlowe has written this particular work, Dido, Queen of Carthage. And it tells the intense dramatic tale of Dido and her fanatical love for Aeneas, her obsessive love for Aeneas, his betrayal of her, and her eventual suicide on his departure for Italy. So you have to understand this particular work, this particular play, in the background of Virgil's Aeneid. Okay, Virgil's Aeneid tells about Aeneas, and to tell us about here there itself we can find Dido and Dido's betrayal by Aeneas. So Aeneas, he was returning with his surviving companions from Trojan War, and as a as a in order to take some refugee. He comes to Dido's land, and he was well received there. And Dido, because of Cupid's arrow, she fell in love with Aeneas. And what happens, Aeneas also was reciprocating her love. And Aeneas, once when he had a heart to stay there with Dido, what happens, something happens, and he got a revelation that, she he should not stay there. His destiny is there in Italy, so he has to go there. So Aeneas leaves Dido, and he could not tolerate this departure of Aeneas, and he eventually suicided. And that is the story of Dido. So you have to understand the story from the background of Virgil's Aeneid. Okay, so Virgil's Aeneid is the primary source that I already told you. Now let's see which all are the major characters of the play. Dido, Queen of Carthage, that is the title character. Then Aeneas. Aeneas is a Trojan royal hero, son of Anchises and goddess Venus. See, Aeneas is the son of Anchises and goddess Venus, and he is a Trojan war hero. And Ascanius. Ascanius is son of Aeneas. Ascanius is son of Aeneas. And Airbus. Airbus, this is Iarbas. Airbus, Airbus, king of Guetulea. Guetulea, who falls in love with Dido, because initially when the play begins, Airbus and Dido, they were somewhat in a relationship where they were about to have a marriage and all. But when Aeneas comes and Cupid hits his arrow to Dido, everything changes from there. Then Achates, friend of Aeneas. Then Illinois is a Greek slave. Then Cloanthus is there as a character. Then Sergestus. Sergestus is the commander of the five armies. And Anna is Dido's sister. Okay, Dido is there. Dido's sister's name is Anna. So goddesses present, god and goddesses present is also there. Jupiter, Ganymede, Cupid, Mercury, Venus, and Juno. All these god and goddesses are there. Then many lords. We can say a lord is there. Then a nurse. A nurse is Dido's widowed elderly nurse. Dido's widowed elderly nurse is there. Then other Trojans and Carthaginians are there. Then servants and attendants are there. So these are the major characters. So the story is not at all complicated. It is plain and you can understand it one sit. Okay. So just give ample attention to the story. So once you understand the story as a detailed story, then everything is going to be easy. Remembering of the characters, remembering of the action, remembering what has happened with whom and where in this play. All this will be very easy for every other play if you understand the storyline. So understand the storyline. Don't skip the video. Okay. So Jupiter is fondling Ganymede. So when the play is opened, Jupiter is God, and he is fondling Ganymede. And Ganymede says that Jupiter's wife, so Ganymede is not wife to Jupiter, so she says that Ganymede says that Jupiter's wife Juno has been mistreating him because of her jealousy. Okay, so Juno is jealous of her, so he is mistreating Jupiter. She says that to Jupiter. And Venus enters. So while they were having this talk and all, Venus enters and complains that Jupiter is neglecting her son Aeneas. So Jupiter is neglecting her son Aeneas. So we all know that Aeneas is son of Venus, and Venus complains to Jupiter that he is neglecting Aeneas, who left, who has left Troy with survivors of the defeated city. So Aeneas, what is the current status of Aeneas? Why Venus is worried? Because uh, the war of Troy, Trojan war has over. So Aeneas survived the war and with many other survivors. So he left the war front, left the battlefield with the survivors of the defeated city. And Aeneas was in his way to Italy. So Aeneas has to reach Italy because he has to go to Italy, but now he lost his way in a storm. So it was the war was there for many years. So he left the country and he has to travel for many years in order to reach back to Italy. So Aeneas was, returning to his land, Italy. So Aeneas was on his way to Italy, but he lost his way in a storm. And Jupiter calms the storm while Venus goes to the Libya. So goes to Libya, coast of Libya. So you know what happens? Aeneas, he was trapped in a storm and he lost the way to Italy. And Jupiter, with the request of Venus, Jupiter calms down the storm. And while Venus goes to Libya in order to meet her son in there. And while she went to Libya, she disguised herself as a mortal, and he meets and he she meets Aeneas there, who has arrived at the coast of Libya. So what happens? Venus goes to Libya to meet Aeneas, and she was disguised herself as a mortal human being, and she met Aeneas there, and he and his followers get separated from their comrades. So what happens? Because of the storm, they lost everything, and they finally arrived at the coast. But what happened when they arrived at the coast? They lost each other. The survivors and Aeneas, they got separated. So they were not together. They separated, they scattered, and they arrived at the coast of Libya. Then Aeneas recognized Venus. So Aeneas knows that his mother is Venus. So Aeneas recognized her, but she denies her identity. She says, "No, no, no, I'm not the person that I'm not the person that you are telling. I'm someone else." So Aeneas recognized her, but she denied her identity as Venus, goddess Venus. She helps him to meet lost Trojans. So they were scattered. The surviving Trojans were scattered. So she helped them to meet each other, who was already received hospitality from local ruler Dido, Queen of Carthage. So the local Libya is a island there. So Dido, Queen of Carthage, she is the ruler there, that particular land, small land. And Venus made him to meet other Trojans, made Aeneas to meet other lost Trojans, and that Trojan survivors were already having hospitality from the local ruler, Dido, Queen of Carthage. And Dido also met with Aeneas and promises to supply his ship and also ask him to give her the true story of the fall of Troy. So Dido also met with Aeneas and she promised that she will provide with every other supply for his ship, and also she also asked that she wanted to know the full story, true story of the fall of Troy. And he tells everything in detail. So what happened in the story, how it began and how it ended, what all things happened in between. Aeneas tells every other detail to Dido and describes the death of Priam, loss of his wife, and his escape with his son Ascanius and other survivors. So see, he tells everything related to Trojan War that he already knows. And Dido already had a suitor whose name was Airbus. So Arbus comes and presses her to marry him. So they were like, she had no objection to marry Arbus. So she also favored him, but Venus had other plans. So Dido's suitor Arbus comes and presses her to marry him. And she was also in agreement with Arbus' suggestion of marriage. But Venus, goddess Venus, had other plans. So she disguises Cupid. Cupid is another son to Venus. We all know that Cupid is son of Venus, and she disguises Cupid. So she made Cupid to disguise as Aeneas' son Ascanius, so that he could get close to Dido. He could go close to Dido and touch her with his arrow. So we all know the story. This consequence, what will happen if Cupid's arrow touches you? Okay, you will fall immediately in love with the person that you are seeing. After that, okay. So Venus also wanted that. Venus wanted that Dido, Queen of Carthage, fall in love with Aeneas, and Aeneas also in turn fell in love with Dido and stay there and be the king of that particular island. So she disguised Cupid as Ascanius, and so that he could go close enough to throw an arrow to Dido, and that's what exactly he does. He does that, and Dido immediately falls for Aeneas and rejects Airbus and leaves him in his horror and confusion. So what happens? So Cupid touches her with his arrow, and Dido immediately falls in love with Aeneas. And now, all of a sudden, without any provocation, she immediately falls for Aeneas, and she rejects Airbus immediately. And Airbus was so horrified, and he was in bewilderment. So, what happened? What was the new development that promoted such an action from Dido Queen of Carthage? So, Airbus could not do now anything. So Dido's sister Anna, who is in love with Airbus. So here another plot is going on. Dido's sister Anna, she was in love with Airbus, but Airbus already was in love with Dido, and Dido was also favoring him, so she cannot intervene. But Dido encouraged by seeing that Dido has a favor, has fall for Aeneas. Dido's sister encouraged Dido to pursue Aeneas and leave Airbus because so that Anna could have him. Dido and Aeneas enter into a cave. So Dido and Aeneas, they both of them entered into a cave, and then she declares her love to him, and they made love in the cave. So they have some physical love in there in that cave, and that means Aeneas also accepted it, and Aeneas also reciprocated that love, right? So otherwise he should not make love with her in that cave when she declared her love for him, right? So seeing this, Airbus swears to avenge them. So their activity, their love making in the cave was witnessed by Airbus, and by seeing this, Airbus was infuriated and he swears to avenge them. So here Venus and Juno appear. So after that the scene shifts. Venus and Juno appears arguing over Aeneas. So Venus and Juno, both of them had different uh, you know plans for Aeneas, and Venus believed that Juno's want to harm her son, but Juno denies it, saying she has important plans for him. So they were arguing about the future of Aeneas, and Venus believed that it is better for Aeneas to stay here with Dido, and he will be safe, and he can marry Dido and can become the king of the island. But yeah, and she also believed that Juno's suggestions will make Aeneas' life risky, and she wants to harm Aeneas. But Juno denies all these allegations from Venus, and she said that she has much more important plans for Aeneas, not just be a king with king in this particular small island, but she has more plans for him. And Aeneas' followers urged to leave Libya in order to fulfill their destiny in Italy. So Aeneas' followers were also there. So they were in their journey to Italy to fulfill their destiny there, to found Rome and also Aeneas' followers urged to leave the city because now they are good. They have ships there, and they Twin Dido will provide the supplies. So they wanted to leave Libya in order to fulfill their destiny in Italy. And what happens? Aeneas seems to agree with it and prepare to depart. So Aeneas, even though he made love with Dido in that cave and he also reciprocated the love, it was not that he wasn't not at all fall in love with Dido, that he could not bear the separation with her and all. So Aeneas also agreed with his surviving followers, and he prepared to depart. Dido heard about Aeneas' departure. So Dido was must be very surprised, right? They were in love, and suddenly Aeneas decided to depart. So Dido brings Aeneas to her, and he asked Aeneas about his departure, why he was preparing for departure and all. So he denied all his intention to depart. So, but she never believed him, and as a precaution, she removed sails and tangles from the ships so that they cannot go further in their journey. And she also kept Ascanius in the custody of her nurse, believing that he won't leave without him. So Aeneas won't leave without him. See, it's like that Aeneas can't leave Ascanius with Dido. So Dido kept Ascanius under custody of her nurse, believing that Aeneas won't leave without him. But Ascanius was only Cupid disguised. See, remember Venus disguised Cupid as Ascanius so that Cupid can go further near to Dido and touch his arrow to her. So Ascanius was only Cupid in disguise. This was unknown to Dido, and Dido says that Aeneas will be the king of Carthage, and anyone who will object this will be executed. So immediately she decided to marry Aeneas, and she says that Aeneas will be the king of Carthage, the island, and anyone who object this will be executed. And Aeneas agrees and plans to build a city to strike back to the Greeks. So he also agrees that he will stay there, and he also plans to build a city to strike back at the Greeks. So as he resolved to stay with Dido, Mercury appears. The god Mercury appears with the real Ascanius before Aeneas and tells him that his real destiny is in Italy and he must live on orders of Jupiter. So Jupiter has ordered you, that means ordered Aeneas to leave this city as soon as possible because your son is here, Ascanius is here. Mercury appeared before him with Ascanius and he revealed that your destiny is not here in Libya or in Carthage. You have to go to Italy and you have to build a city there. So you have to leave immediately on the orders of Jupiter. And he reluctantly accepted the command, and Airbus sees the opportunities and agrees to him to give him the lost tangles and sails of the ship. So Airbus was there. He saw that he accepted the command from Jupiter to leave the city. So Airbus also sees these opportunities and agrees to him to give him the lost tangles and sails that once Dido was taken from the ship. And Aeneas tells about his departure to Dido and she pleads, but he refuses to stay. So Dido, Aeneas told her that, Dido, I'm going to leave you. And she pleads, but he refuses to stay. And he leaves Dido having her in this despair. So his pleadings and plead is gone vain. Nothing happened there. He leaves Dido alone. Her nurse got imprisoned as Ascanius disappeared. So nobody knows that Venus made his son Cupid in the form of Ascanius and all. So since the son Ascanius was not seen there, Dido imprisoned her nurse because Ascanius was disappeared. Dido tells Airbus and Anna to create a funeral pyre to burn everything that remains of him. So Dido tells Airbus, Anna and Anna that you have to create a funeral pyre to burn everything that every other thing, every other material that reminds me of Aeneas. So after cursing Aeneas's progeny, she throws herself into the fire. So it was not that she planned to burn everything that reminds her of Aeneas, but after cursing Aeneas and his progeny and his coming generation and lineage, so she throws herself into the fire, and Arbus, horrified by seeing this, also jumped into the fire and kills himself. Anna, seeing Arbus dead, kills herself. So in the end, three people dies. Three people they are killing themselves. Dido, out of frustration in love. Arbus, by seeing that Dido is no more, and Anna, saying Arbus is dead, kills herself as well. So that's how the story ends. The story is a horrible uh, story has a horrible end, and for Dido we all have our pity and sympathy. Okay, so betrayal of Aeneas, Dido's or Aeneas's betrayal of Dido is a famous story that we all know, and Dido is considered as a very chaste woman and very beautiful and young and chaste and who is faithful in love as well. So that's all about Dido, Queen of Carthage. I hope this story was clear enough for you to remember and remember the major characters. That's enough. So if you have any queries, questions, and suggestion, please do that. Please mention that in the comment section, and you can find me in these platforms, my website, and you can call me and message me, WhatsApp me if you have any, if you want any help from my side, if you want to know what you study, and if you want to know how to study, and if you want to know what is the strategy of studying UGC Net English, then you can call me and you can have a talk with me or message with me, so that I can help you. I'll be very glad to help you. You can mail me in this mail address as well. And also, let me tell you one thing. Please don't forget to join the WhatsApp group if you are interested. That is there. The link is there in the description box. And if you like the video, press the like button, and if you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to my channel. And that's all. Let me meet you in the next video. Until then, bye bye and thank you.